Ladies and gentlemen, I think I might be in love. Hello and welcome back to Nerdy Nerds. I am James and today we are going over Legends Arceus. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am absolutely in love with the game. I think it's incredible, but we're going to discuss the things that I like and the things that have niggled me ever so slightly. And there are very few, but we are going to discuss them in this video. So if you're excited, stick around, put a like on the video, and I'll see you after this. Right then, so let me kick off with what it is that I don't like, because like I said, there's not many things that I don't like. The one thing that I think really holds this game back is the fact that it is on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Nintendo Switch is an incredible product. I love using it, but the issue is, after a while, because the controls are as small as they are, it does get very uncomfortable very quick. And I've got the Switch Lite, which is even more small and even more, fidgety for your hands. And I have found there's been a few occasions where I have struggled to really get my aim and press all the buttons that I've needed to press because it's just too much of an awkward controller. The one big issue with the controller, and it comes with a lot of use, is the changing of your noble Pokemon. So when you change from like Weirdeer to like Ursaluna, you have to press the plus button, and the plus button is above all of your A's and B's and all them buttons. And I've just found that it's really difficult to you have to stop playing to press the button. It's really annoying. Or if you want to switch the Pokemon that you have to leave the analog stick and hit the right D-pad. So it does get a bit annoying, but overall the controls are a little bit clunky, but the mechanics of the game are incredible. So I think what they've done is an incredible thing, but with the controller, I think it's just a little bit limited. Now, of course, you do have the option to use one of the special Wii controllers, but I did try and connect that to my Switch, but I've got, like I said, the Switch Lite, and it doesn't seem to work. I couldn't look left with the trackpad. I don't know why, I don't know what was going on, but I was trying to look with the right analog stick, and I couldn't look left. I could look all the other directions, up, down, right, whatever I wanted, couldn't look left. So I don't know if that's an issue with the pads, or if that's an issue with my Switch. I have to find out later on, but yeah, I was stuck using the actual analog sticks and it sucked. Now, there is one thing I have got to put down about the graphics, and I feel really bad mentioning it because, of course, if you're going to compare this game to any other Pokemon game, the graphics are far superior just by a mile. Like, it is unbelievable how far they've gone in such a short space of time. But there are issues with the graphics, like, for example, the grass every now and then will flicker. You'll see people's feet start doing this. It does have a few issues, but like I said, it's very minimal, and I feel bad saying it, but there are, improvements to be made with the graphics. But I will be honest, this game is stunning. This game reminds me a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn, and the way, like, the landscapes sort of act, and, the creatures, the Pokemon are just spot on. They're perfect. You have all the alpha Pokemon that sort of hang around. I'm kind of getting into the rest of the review here, but let me just carry on. So, as far as the negatives are, that is literally it. Okay, you've got the very, very faint and few graphical issues. There are a few other things. For example, you've got to go and get the blue or purple orbs, and sometimes they don't appear on your screen until you're right next to them, even though you're like 50 meters away, and they'll appear, and then you get closer and they disappear, and you get right next to it and it appears again. There's a few minor things like that, but in general, I think the game looks stunning. So, like I said, very few minor issues with the graphics, and also the fact it's on a Switch. Other than that, let's talk about what I do like, because there is an absolute ton. Now, the Pokeballs, I was panicking at the beginning of the game because when it came to crafting, I was able to make a lot of Pokeballs and a lot of, Great Balls and all this, that, and the other. But as soon as they introduced the Ultra Balls, I started panicking. But in all honesty, the whole crafting element isn't really that important as soon as you get past the point of all the items being in the shop, because you make an absolute shit ton of money from catching Pokemon, so you don't really have to worry about money in the game. If you're ever stuck for money, go find a space distortion, go around, run around, pick up all the stuff on the floor. You're laughing, you make so much money. But yeah, money's never an issue, and Pokeballs are never an issue. But yeah, I find the Pokeballs, they've just defined them down to a very few select Pokeballs, and I much prefer it rather than having tons and tons of different various Pokeballs you can pick from. As much as it is cool to have, I think it is a lot easier just to focus on these few balls. Now, they have got heavy balls, and I think heavy balls are the most useless balls in the game. I've never really got use of them, so I kind of just put them in my storage when I have them. But yeah, in general, the Pokeballs are pretty good. Now, speaking about the Pokeballs, I've actually thought of a negative. Now, the inventory in the game isn't fantastic, and you will often have to find a way of managing your inventory. Now, you can pay to have your inventory increased, but it goes from like 100 to 200 to 300 up to 5,000, 10,000 onwards. It gets really expensive, so if you are low on cash, then managing your inventory is a bit of a pain in the ass. But it's not the end of the world. It's kind of what you expect from an RPG style game, so it's not really a negative, but it is something you should look out for. The Pokemon themselves, I was worried when I first saw the game was announced that if you look at like the overworld of Sword and Shield, it didn't really feel like it was alive. As much as it was, you know, the Pokemon were there, it didn't feel alive. Whereas Legends Arceus genuinely feels like it is alive. And because of the element of the alpha Pokemon, it kind of adds to the whole world of, you know, you have a group of Shinx and then the one alpha Luxray. It just makes sense to have a leader in a pack. I think it's a really cool addition, and I think that's something that really helped make the world feel alive. The selection of Pokemon, I think, is far greater than what I first thought it was going to be when I first saw the Pokedex. And like I said, in the ranking video, there were a few Pokemon that I had a few issues with that now that I've seen them in person, I really like them. Like my Typhlosion, I hated the animation that I saw when I first saw it on YouTube. Absolutely in love with the guy now. I think he looks awesome. Another great thing is the story and the side quests. Now, the story I have just finished. I've got a few things left to do with the side quests, and I have got probably some end game stuff to do as well. So I've not looked too much into it. I don't want to go too far now. I want to give this review as I've just completed the main story. But yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the story itself I think is impeccable. There were elements to the story that I was shocked by, and there was elements to the story that sort of give you hints at the like the past games, but like the future of Pokemon. It's such a really cool sort of living, sort of breathing world now that you've seen these background elements, and there's just parts of the game and in the actual world of the game that highlight things that I don't want to say on camera now in case people are watching this and haven't played the game. But one thing I will say is like you go under one of the mountains and you can find the sort of fossiled remains of Shieldon and Cranados. And it just looks so cool, and it's so cool and refreshing to have something like that in a game that we can sort of see fully sort of visualized. Because like if you see them in the other games, you saw remains in the walls, but it was so 2D and pixelated that it just didn't feel like this feels. Like it genuinely feels like an Easter egg inside a Pokemon game, which is crazy to me, and I absolutely love it. The fighting mechanics are absolutely just is such a breath of fresh air, and the whole I'm talking about boss battles and regular battling. I'll talk about boss battles first, and then I'll talk about regular battling. But the boss battles with the BAMs and then switching to your Pokemon and actually defeating it, it was sick. I loved it. I thought it was an absolutely incredible addition, and it kind of gave me sort of Dark Soul vibes, the way you had to fight the bosses and you had to be really sort of tactical about it. I'm going to do the game, I think I've done it on regular mode. I'm going to do it on hard mode when I do completely finish it, because I really want to get a challenge out of it. And to be honest with you, there were a few fights that really kind of got me. I had to do it a few times. I found the legendary fights were the easiest, which is strange. But yeah, the actual fights in the game, there's a few that are really tough. And I think that if you're a youngster and you're a kid, there will be fights that are really quite difficult, and you can skip them if you want to, but I was refusing to skip any of them. I restarted every single fight that I lost. The way the fights are, I think they're really cool. But the battling system. So the battling is like in regular Pokemon, you have your turn taking. In this game, you have agile and strong mode, and it kind of adds to the tactical side of it. You kind of see what your spacing is in the turn taking, and if you use an agile move, sometimes you can have an extra move, or somewhere down the line you can have an extra move. That element of it and having it visualized, I thought was really cool, because in the other games, obviously, you just sort of relied on going back and forth, and someone missed, or whatever. You never really had anyone, I don't think you ever had someone take 2 goes in one turn. So it was really cool to have that element added. But also, another cool thing is you can walk around the battle and really visualize the Pokemon fighting. That is something that, as a Pokemon player from the early days, it's something that I really wanted to experience. It's something that I really wanted in a Pokemon game that I didn't think we would ever get, because I always thought we'd have the top-down adventures. This is exactly what a Pokemon game should be. And it is just absolutely breathtaking watching these Pokemon fight. And the way they've done it, instead of having in the old games, you do like a flamethrower and it just come from the center of the body and just shoot off. This, it feels like they've really put some thought into the directions of the fighting and the directions of the moves. And it's blown me away. Honestly, the fighting has blown me away. But another thing that is kind of cheating, but it helps, is you can leave Pokemon battles and rejoin them. Like, do you remember back in the day, you'd have a Pokemon battle that you were just getting absolutely wiped out and you couldn't catch them, but you really wanted to catch it, but your team was dying faster than you could throw Pokeballs. Well, now you can jump away from the fight, heal all your team, and just chuck your Pokemon back into the fight, and you're back going again. And that is so, so handy and so sick. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have killed many Pokemon that I wanted to catch. Eevees, Alakazams, I've killed them all. I didn't mean to, but I've desperately tried to catch these Pokemon, and I've killed them all. I've caught an Eevee now. I still haven't caught an Alakazam, so I keep killing him. So that is an element that is really handy. You can jump out of battles, heal all your Pokemon, and then you go back at it again and try and catch it again. I haven't tried to do it with any of the legendaries yet, so I'll try and do it later on with the future legendaries. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, you could do it in all the battles, and it was sick. The last thing I want to speak about is the interactions with people in Hisui. Now, when you walk past people, you get speech bubbles at the top that sort of give little messages, and quite often they'll be quite reactive to what's going on in your game, and they react to you quite a lot, and it's really quite cool. And it really does actually feel like it's a living city, and everyone's sort of going about doing their stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, no one's really walking around. You don't see anyone walking down the street and then walking back and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But it does sort of feel like a living, breathing town. Now, I was kind of worried about when I first saw the game announced, and they had in the advert, they had all the characters sort of pop up, and they had the little clans, and they showed them off. But I thought it was going to be really sort of two-dimensional, and they weren't going to say a lot, and you were going to have the same sort of things that you did in the other games, where you'd walk up to someone and someone would just go, oh, there's a berry that really helps me be perky or whatever. But in this, everyone had something to say, and most people had a mission for you to do. So they always felt like there was something to do, and there was always something to do for someone else and be helpful within the community. And that kind of added to the feel of the game, that you felt like you were really doing something within the game. And I'll be honest with you, this game has been an incredible experience. As a Pokemon fan, it has been just next level. I'm really genuinely like gushing over this game. It is stupidly good. When it comes to Pokemon games, this is the epitome of what a Pokemon game should be. They have really knocked it out of the park. It feels like Skyrim and Horizon have just been mixed together, and I genuinely haven't been this hooked on a game since, I think, Control back in 2019. I loved Control. Control was a sick game. But this game, it's unbelievable. And like I said, as a Pokemon fan, and if you guys are watching this and you haven't played the game before, but you've played all the other games, there's so many little nods to the games and so many nods to the world of Pokemon that it's a magical experience that any Pokemon fan should play this game. So, as a review number, because I feel like we should give it a Nearly Nerds number. So, I'm going to give this game, out of 5, I'm going to give it a 4.8. I want to give it a 5, but no, you know what? We're not doing no 0.8. We're doing it in 0.5s or nothing. So we're giving it a 5, okay? We're giving this game a 5. I don't care, right? The issues that exist within the game, like I said, the graphical issues, they're minor. And if I'm going to compare this game to a AAA title, like, for example, Horizon, yeah, fair enough, the graphics don't add up. But if you compare this game to a Pokemon game, this game looks better than any Pokemon game on the market ever. This game is stunning. And the actual Pokemon themselves, they live up to how they should look and act. And their sizes are right. And you can throw them out in the overworld and you can hang out with all your buddies. And it is so, so sick. So yeah, story, 5. Gameplay, 5. Game itself, 5. I'm in love with this game. Honestly, I'm gutted that I don't have a capture device so I can stream this game for you guys. But you would have seen me just having a ball of a time. I've been having a sick time. I've loved this game. So, yeah, it gets a 5 from me. And I hope you guys have played it. I hope you guys get a chance to experience it. And honestly, you will not regret buying it. If you are on the fence about buying Legends Arceus, don't be on that fence. That fence is going to snap soon. Fall over on the right side and buy the game. Guys, go and have a wonderful week. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you very much for joining me. Like the video and subscribe. Appreciate you all. Have a good time. Cheers.
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe?
If you enjoyed that video, why not subscribe? It'll help me and Natty continue to do the work that we're doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Thanks.